As guitar players and audio engineers in 2025, getting access to great guitar tone has never been easier. With that being said, the issue lies in which to choose. With so many well-respected companies out there at so many different price ranges, it may be hard to choose. But today, I think I may have found one of the greatest amp sim plugins ever, but there's a catch. It's free. Yes, free. The plugin I'm talking about today is the BX MegaSingle from Plugin Alliance. Let's hop into a full metal mix really quick, and let's dive into this plugin. Now that we have that full mix out of the way, let's hop into this plugin and see what it has to offer. And a couple things before we hop into this video. No, Plugin Alliance is not sponsoring this video. I am simply making this video to get the word out there about this plugin. I use a couple of their plugins while I mix and while I master tracks as well. Keep that in mind. They're not sponsoring this video. I just like this product. But with that being said, before we take a deep dive into this plugin, there are a couple things I do want to talk about in terms of the recording stage. The biggest thing when getting any kind of guitar tone, whether it's with an amp sim, an amp modeler, or a real amp, comes to the setup of your guitar. Setup means, at the most basic level, your guitar is in a playable state, meaning your guitar is intonated, the string height is even, the neck is as straight as it can be, there are no dead frets, and most importantly, new strings. New strings can make or break your guitar tone before hitting your amp section and all that processing, so make sure you have new strings and your guitar is properly set up and you're getting signal out of the guitar. The guitar used for this mix was this ESP LTD MH1001. It's the cherry red one, loaded with Seymour Duncan pickups. I was just on the bridge pickup the entire time. Another thing to keep in mind when recording is how you're going to be recording your guitar. Obviously, you usually typically go direct when recording a guitar when using a plugin. Obviously, this is probably the most popular interface for beginner at-home recording for pretty much everyone in any genre. This is the Scarlett Solo, is what I'm showing you right now. I'm actually currently using the Scarlett 2i2 to record this right now, but the easiest way to do it is, if you have it, obviously, when using this, is to just plug your guitar in on one end, and on the other end, you just plug straight in. That's the easiest way to do it. But what I did, just because I wanted a mic level signal going in to my interface, I used this, which is a DI box. I'm not going to do a full breakdown on what a DI box is, but basically, in simple terms, it converts your guitar signal into your unbalanced guitar signal into a balanced mic signal, so your interface processes it a little bit differently, but it's still a DI signal, so it'll still sound like a guitar whether you go through one of these into your interface or if you just go straight into your interface with a guitar cable. Pick your poison. You don't have to spend money on this because this is just another expense you may not need, but I just prefer cleaner signal of a DI box, so that's why I recorded through that. Now that that's out of the way, let's hop into my Pro Tools section and see what it's all about. I won't be doing a live screen share, just doing some screenshots. So first off, here's what my DI signal sounds like. So when recording a DI signal, you don't want to come in super duper hot. You just want to make sure you're generally in the green. You don't want to hit the orange or red lights, because then you're distorting your signal, and you don't want that. You want to give your computer and your software the cleanest signal possible. So I do back it down a considerable amount from where I usually record it. And so I usually come in, when recording everything else, I usually try to come in around -12 to -14, but with this, I think it was coming in around -20. I just wanted to give myself the headroom for the processing with the DI, since I wasn't compressing. I don't like compressing guitars, the guitar DIs at least. That's besides the point. Standard recording is to double track, meaning, let's say you have, in this case, a demo track that's a minute-ish long. You have 2 guitar tracks. On one track, you record your guitar riff. The second guitar track, you re-record the first track, and then you just pan them out. So they're the same guitar part, but different takes. You pan them hard left, hard right. Do that. It's a standard practice here, just to get a huge, wide guitar sound, and secondly, to get the guitars out of the center of the mix to create room for, the things that are going to be the middle, that being kick drum, snare, bass guitar, vocals. Okay, let's hop into this. Here's what the plugin looks like. Obviously based off a very popular guitar amp. So this is what the plugin itself looks like. There's 2 channels. You've got kind of like your clean and crunch section on channel 1. Channel 2, you got your like high gain version, and you got like 3 different voices. You switch them with this rhythm lead switch. And also something to keep in mind, what I did with this particular track, I also used an overdrive in front of the amp, before the amp as well. The reason I did that, for those of you who may be confused on why to use an overdrive beforehand, using an overdrive does shape your guitar tone, and it does voice the guitar amp differently. It does push the mid-range frequency forward and cuts some unwanted lower frequencies that aren't really needed in a guitar, thus creating space for all the other instruments that are needed in those particular areas. It also does help saturate and distort the amp a bit as well. So on the left side, I was using the BX Yellow Drive. It's another Plugin Alliance plugin. This one's also free, so keep that in mind. Everything that I will be using here is going to be a free plugin. This one's a yellow drive based off the Boss Super Overdrive. I actually have that pedal on my pedal board right over here. Love that pedal. I got the level tone at max, no drive. You're just using that to give a louder signal into the amp. Obviously, we're on channel 2. I was on the modern voice. Here are my settings here. We'll start from the gain section. I did have the gain turned up pretty high, because I felt like this amp, even with the overdrive in front, did need more input gain to saturate the way I wanted it to, so I had it there. The EQ, this area is to taste, and obviously will probably vary from track to track as well, and from genre to genre, but in this particular case, I had everything generally flat here. I left the bass where it is, I cut the mids just a little bit, and I boosted the treble a little bit as well. It's kind of like that's like your standard metal, old, kind of like stereotypical metal guitar tone. I almost said old guitar tone. It's not really an old guitar tone, but for this style amp, like the model of this amp, that is like a general setting a lot of people use. So, and it sounds good for a reason. And then I did boost the presence a bit to get some extra brightness out of the amp. Output, obviously, is just how loud the plugin is after processing. So I left it there, and I do have this solo knob engaged, which I believe is like just it's another form of like output. It does. I'm not entirely sure what that exact knob is, to be honest with you. I probably should have read up on that a little bit, but I did add this an extra like output stage to it, which helped push the guitars forward a bit, and it did color the guitar sound a little bit as well. So this is what the guitar sounds like with this setting. Oh, something also to keep in mind as well is this amp sim does have, which I thought was a really pleasant surprise, it does have an effects rack section. This is where you can change like your guitar cab. This is where you can add like an EQ. You can also add delay and a bunch of other features in here too, which is you even have a gate, which is honestly for a free plugin. The fact that you even have this without having to spend a single penny, absolutely insane. Let's go over this as well. In order to get it here, you have to hit the effects rack section at the top, where it says where all the presets are. So I guess we'll start with the gate. Basically, what a gate is, like imagine an actual gate where it opens and closes to let stuff in. I just kind of set the threshold so it does clamp down on whatever just noise was introduced, and then the range is just wherein the audio signal loudness it kicks in. That'll change from genre to genre, guitar to guitar. So set that to where you need to. This second section here will probably generally be the same for pretty much all guitar parts. Is this low cut, high cut filter. You have 3 different sections for it. You have pre, post, and off. Obviously, off means it's that frequency band isn't working. Pre means it's I believe is happening before all the processing, and processing means like the gain, bass, middle, treble. It happens before that, and then post means it happens after the guitar cab, which I'll talk about that as well later in the video. So I had it set to pre, so right before the input stage of the guitar. I had the tight knob at 100 hertz just to clean up whatever low end frequencies and rumble that is unnecessary in a guitar. 100 hertz I typically find is the sweet spot for me. The smooth knob, same thing. It's the same thing, but in the top end frequencies, like all the bright trebly frequencies, I have that set at 9K. I felt like that was kind of the sweet spot for this particular sound, because it did get rid of all kind of like the noise and harsh frequencies in the treble frequency area that wasn't really needed in a guitar. I had both of those set to pre, and so if you feel like you don't need it, you can turn it off, or if you feel like you need it in the post area, you can switch that as well. Something really cool as well, I did try this out as well, was the delay that's built in, which I think is insane. It gives you everything. You can do a tap tempo, so if you want to do some weird rhythm, like have the delay do a weird rhythm, you can tap that in. I just had it synced to the BPM of the track, so that's cool. It has it in there. I did try it. I did just write a random lead line that actually I just deleted from the track. I just wrote it just so I can hear what it sounds like. I think it sounds really cool. Another thing here, the input gain section, meaning the signal coming into the plugin. You can adjust how loud or quiet it is. That will change how the plugin reacts to that signal. So I do have it at 7.3 dBs right now. With that out of the way, talking about all the EQ section, preamp section, and everything else. The last thing that is very important in this is the cabinet section, because the cabinet and speakers of a guitar amp is probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest thing after recording amp sims. So for this the left track, I chose the English 412 3, the Dynamic 57. So it's an English cab, which I believe is some kind of Marshall cab. It's a 412. And has a 57 on it. There's a lot of different options to choose from. They give you 63 different types of, or 62 types of cabinets. The 63rd does not have a cab section on it, so if you want to load your own speaker impulse responses on it, you can do that, or if you want to reamp the preamp signal into an actual power amp and guitar speaker and into an actual microphone, you can do that as well. But yeah, there's a lot to choose from. You'll have un-EQ'd ones plus EQ'd ones. EQ'd meaning it'll give you that speaker type, amp type, and speaker type, but they'll EQ it to where it'll fit in a mix. I chose not to do ones that have EQ in it on it, just so I can have a bit of I can process it the way I see fit. For this one, I chose the English 412 because it's a classic sound. All right, so that's what the left guitar amp sounds like. Here's what it sounds like pre-DI. And then now here's post DI with the amp sim on it. So, sounds really cool, right? That's all the way on the left-hand side. I'm just leaving it in the middle for you, just so you guys can actually, hear it all right here. I have the same exact, another guitar track on the right-hand side. I use the same exact amp sim. It's the MegaSingle. I do have a couple different changes to it. I have the same overdrive in front as well, in front of it, which is the yellow drive. I did change the EQ a bit from this one, on this track I should say. I turned the gain all the way up just so there is a different type of saturation and compression coming in before hitting the preamp section. From here I did turn the mid-range and treble up, and then I turned the bass down just so this track is a bit more mid-rangey and your mid-rangey and mid-range heavy and have more brightness in it. And I did I left the presence the same. I did turn the master down just a touch because when cranking the gain all the way up, it does amplify the signal more, making it louder. And then plus, since I did boost the mid-range, frequencies are very sensitive on the human hearing, so I did turn it down a little bit on the actual amp itself, like the plugin itself, just to compensate for it. I matched the right side to the left side in terms of volume, made sure to do that so there's no, the track isn't leaning this way, So I also did change a little bit in the effects track section. I did change, the cabinet, to the German 412 Dyna 60 with Dyna 421 and Ribbon A cab on there, which is the third cabinet in there. It's German, which I believe is based off an Engel cab, which those cabs sound great as well. It has 3 different mics on it. It has the Dynamic 600. I'm not entirely sure what that mic is based off of. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys know what that mic is. And it has the Dynamic 421, which is based off the Sennheiser MD 421. I love that mic on guitar. It has this, certain kind of mid-range quality to it that I really love. And then we also have the Ribbon A mic, which is based off some kind of ribbon mic. The ribbon mic has a darker sound to it, simply just of how ribbon mics are made, and to lend itself to darker sound. So I put that in there so it can get a bit of a darker sound as well. The reason I did that is because the way I have this amp sim brighter than the other track, I felt like having that ribbon mic in there to darken things up a bit did help. So I chose did that as well. That's about it. So here's the DI signal for the right hand for the second guitar track. And now here is that same exact guitar part with the amp sim on it. So yeah, that's how I processed each side. I processed them a little bit differently. Obviously with the same amp sim, the character is going to be the same, generally the same, but with some slight tweaks to make it sound different, because most modern metal now have the exact same sound on each side, which works, but I wanted to try something different, so that's why I did it this way. If this is too complicated for you, feel free just to have the stock amp settings tweak to taste, and then leave the cabinet section the way it is and just double track. That's going to be the most important part here, is double tracking and then panning both those out all the way to 100% to get a big wall of sound. There's going to be some mixing stuff you do that will change it a little bit, which I won't really go over too much in this video, but that's just general mixing stuff that I won't be going too deep into this video because I simply just wanted to show you guys the amp sim, this free amp sim, because I feel like in today's day and age, we don't really talk about free stuff enough. At least I haven't seen people talk about free stuff enough, or at least on my YouTube feed, I should say. That being said, a couple takeaways from this video is using overdrives before the amp sim, or to shape your tone a little bit, and then also just setting the guitar tone to taste, which taste is up to the user and up to the song. A few takeaways to keep in mind is the guitar is a mid-range instrument, so keep that in mind when dialing in a guitar tone, whether it be for, you know, metalcore track like this, a punk track, death metal. It doesn't matter what genre you're recording a guitar in, mid-range is vital to a guitar tone, so as long as you're complementing the mid-range of the guitar, you'll be all set. Another thing is on the amp sim itself, make sure to set your gain properly to help saturate the guitar and bring it forward a little bit in the mix. That being said, if there's any kind of topic you guys want me to cover, leave that in the comment section below so I can make a video on that topic. Just interact with you guys. I would love to help you guys with any kind of questions you guys have to offer and make videos on that as well, so I can get your ideas out there. But with that being said, if you like today's video, feel free to like, subscribe, and turn on bell notifications to stay up to date with what I'm doing in the audio production world, in the heavy music scene. So you can also check out new bands as well, because I also do reaction videos as well. Do all that stuff. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys want me to do next in terms of audio production. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I am on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Would love to have you guys on the journey to 1,000 subs. And if you guys need someone to mix and master tracks, don't forget to hit the first link in the description box below to find ways to contact me. And if you guys want to get your hands on this plugin, I will also leave a link to Plugin Alliance's website where you can find this very plugin and so many other plugins, both paid and free. With that being said, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Rock on, guys. See you guys there.